Welcome to the next chapter, chapter 4, of The Boy Who Grew Dragons. 4. It's a dragon! Okay, so maybe you'd be totally cool if you found a dragon in your bedroom. Maybe it wouldn't faze you at all, and you'd know what to do. You'd better be all like, hey, cool, that's a cool dragon. I'm cool about that, but me, I didn't have a clue about what to do, and I definitely wasn't feeling cool about it. I mean, it was a dragon, and it might only have been big enough that it could sit on my hand, and so far its fire-breathing had only produced a spark. But hello, it was a dragon! It made the fizzing match sound again. So you can see little fizzes on the side of the thing. And the most I could manage to get out of this was a whispered, wow. Then we stared at each other for a really long time. My head is always brimming with ideas and stories. Miss Logan says my imagination is like a geyser gushing out ideas 24 hours a day. But right then it was like the geyser had been sat on by one of those enormous elephant seals with the weird drunk that. And all I could squeeze out was, there's a dragon in my room on my cupboard right now. As you can see, there are more smarts everywhere. Talk about stating the obvious. Then bit by bit, the elephant seal flubbered away and the geyser spluttered back to life. I picked up my dragon, shooting out mighty flames, and me riding across the sky on its back. I thought, I'm going to have the most utterly mind-blowing, amazingest pet of all time. Move over, lion. I have the best bite. Execute a radio-controlled bit-plane obstacle leaper, hamster swatchum, and make room for my dragon! Suddenly, the little creature took a flutter hop towards me. For a second, I wondered if it would turn out to be as mean as all the books said, and launch itself at my face. Maybe it'd send flame at my eyes, or scratch me with its sharp claws. This could be a dangerous pet. I'd probably go into school with scars and have to explain how I'd have to wrestle my pet to the ground before I could get out the door. I guess that might not be ideal. Not on a day-to-day basis, anyway. I started weighing up the props and cons, remembering the cuddly glass guinea pig, then comparing it to a ferocious, limb-shredding, fire-breathing reptile. But even with possible loss of limbs, there didn't seem to be much concept. A dragon would make a really cool pet. And the more I watched it, the more I realized that this particular time didn't look very mean or dangerous. In fact, as it tilted its head to side and hiccuped out a little smoke ring, the word kept popping into my head was cute. I stayed as still as I could, I remembered something about letting dogs sniff your hand before you say hello to them. So when I didn't move again, I slowly reached out my hand, resting it on the carpet in front of the little creature. Another flutter hop, and there was a dragon sitting on the palm of my hand. An actual live dragon. It kept its wings half unfurled as it swept its head from side to side, expecting my fingers, which were now warm from its breath. I could feel its claws trudging into my skin like a cat trying to get comfy. I didn't dare move in case it disappeared in a puff of "this can't really be happening" smoke. Slowly I got to my feet, keeping my hands as steady as I could. Suddenly I decided to assume he was a he, started jiggling from foot to foot, leaning forward as if it were about to launch and then pulling back, like I did on the diving board at the pool, wanting to die, but hating the moment where I had to step off into nothing but air. I thought about how baby birds learn to fly, and also how I've seen their tiny bodies on the ground sometimes, ones who had flown too soon. Was it the same with dragons? Before I could open my mouth to speak, he had taken the plunge. For a moment, the tiny dragon was flapping upwards, nose thrust forward, his wings shimmering, but then he blew out a smoky puff and began to drop. My heart sank. I lurched forward to catch him, but just before he landed in my outstretched hand, he flapped and rose again, and he was off, soaring away over my bed, still reeling a bit from side to side, but most definitely aloft. I watched as he swooped back round and landed with a bump on my desk. My relief and excitement, because let's be clear, a dragon had just round my bedroom, I clapped my hands together and gave a whoop of delight. The dragon lifted his head. He let out another smoky hiccup, this time followed by a tiny orange spark, and then he hopped towards me. Things I noticed from close up. Glittering rings, scales that rippled from every shade of red, eyes like diamonds, hot smoky breath, sharp claws, 3 at the front and 1 at the back of each foot. Arrowhead tail, which he didn't seem to be able to control very well, because every so often he would whip it around and bash himself, and then twist his head round in alarm as if he was being attacked. 2 little horns, 1 longer than the other. Things I did not notice. Tom-Tom. Well, that's chapter 4 of The Boy Who Grew Dragons. Next will be chapter 5, The Tom-Tom and Jerry Show. Bye!